Hello everyone and welcome to the PlayStation Access podcast with me, your guest host, Nathan Dighton. It's a pleasure to be back, and to celebrate this week we're discussing things which are old and yet still good. Warm and worthy gaming reliables that never let you down. Our new game roundup features Rob adrift in a sea of stars and some picks from Gamescom, and who will win our community-sourced quiz. Keep listening to find out. Hello, welcome back to the PlayStation Access podcast. This is the official podcast of PlayStation UK, and I am your guest host, Nathan. And today I'm joined by Rob.
Hello.
And also by Dave.
Hello.
And I am here because the rest of the team is not here, so you get me instead. Which, is that a bonus? Actually, that ties into the theme that we'll be talking about later on.
Ooh, intriguing.
Very soon. But before all of that, a preview of the other things we'll be talking about. Comments of the week. I remember comments of the week.
It's the same, but different.
Do we sing?
We do sing.
Okay, great. Before we go, but first,
he's done this so well.
What's new? I'm going to be talking about some recent releases in the What's New section of the PlayStation Access podcast, which I'm completely familiar with.
Yeah, you must be a regular listener.
And understand how to host. I wanted to get through all of this just to talk. Rob, one of the things which has been out recently, and I actually wrote about it this week on Access for the PlayStation Store video, Sea of Stars.
Yes.
I thought it just had not your name written on it, but your name written inside it.
Yes.
Not literally.
Written in the stars.
Yeah.
That I would like this game. It's one of those games where you immediately play it and you can just, when you've been doing this as long as I have, you can immediately see and just feel when a game is quality, just immediately.
Right.
And this game had those things.
Wait, so someone who's new to games couldn't sense the quality of it. It takes a
Rob
fine...
just needs to put his hand on a game.
Yeah.
And he can tell.
Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying.
Well, can I say though, because I was researching it from cold. I know nothing, and I've not played any of those classic RPGs that you've played. I saw it was a nostalgic turn-based RPG, and the first thing I wanted to check, I googled, does it have a world map? Because I knew that you would be excited about. You have taught me to be excited about.
Yes,
but to your point though, it's not just, tick box exercise, does it have those things, but it's obviously, I think that someone of your experience and quality is looking for how a game like that treats those ideas that people are looking for.
I think so. I've still not played too much of it, but everything I have experienced in it so far, I've just absolutely loved. It looks like a classic retro JRPG, but you can tell it's been thought about in a modern way. There are things it does. There are niggles with old JRPGs that I sort of hate.
Are we talking about Battle XP?
Battles is the first one I want to talk about, because usually in a JRPG, before you even battle, there'll be just reams and reams of character dialogue explaining how all the systems work.
Right.
This game assumes a level of knowledge from its player base, from its target audience, i.e. me, people who love classic JRPGs. And you're just running along and a monster attacks you and immediately you're in a turn-based battle. There's no transition between a map screen and a battle screen, and I think that's, that was always I always saw that as just a result of the technical limitations of the time when these games were being made 20, 30 years ago. Doesn't need to do that now. It's like a seamless transition into the battle. There's no tutorial. Immediately, just a little simple battle menu comes up. Attack, skill, item. So I know what to do now, and I'm immediately in this battle. It's great.
And one of the things that I did read about it as well, I was trying to bluff my way through this section of the podcast, was just about the XP for your party comes in a pool, rather than, so you don't have to play with people just because you want to keep the, so you can deploy them in the situations they're actually needed. So that sounds good as well.
It's great. I've not played much of it, but it's so my cup of tea.
And the other thing I wanted to say about it is that the enemy is called the Fleshmancer.
Yeah, I really liked that.
Which is good, isn't it?
Yeah, that is good.
Like the Necromancer, but for flesh.
Flesh. So, yeah, I'm not going to interrogate what that means.
No.
Instead, I'm going to talk about Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, which by the time this podcast goes out, I believe that the pair of you will have played.
Yes.
Two noobs.
I saw that we were tweaking the format there. Which one of you is going to be the expert? Neither of us.
Yeah, I think we realised that we wouldn't just wouldn't be experts in time.
Yeah.
It's vast. I'm hearing that there's a big difficulty spike at the end of the tutorial.
The tutorial.
So God knows what the stream's going to be like.
I was reading about it, and my understanding is that I obviously did the classic Google, is this game hard? And people were saying, it's not hard, you just have to pay attention. And I was like,
that's the classic, no, it's not hard. That's when someone is like, I've played this game for 50 hours. It's not hard. You just got to
maybe you just have to pay attention
amazing
and
at it like me.
Tune your armoured core to whatever you're going to be facing.
Yeah. Which is not, I must admit, not my strong suit.
No.
I'm not good at, like, I'll be adaptable. I'm like, I play this one way.
Yeah,
I hope it works.
Yeah. This is my favourite thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it again and again.
I was, tens of hours into Demon Souls before I, changed my outfit to... And it was like, oh my God, I'm so much more nimble now, to get round a boss. I was like, why hadn't I done this sooner?
It's a good example, because breaking into Souls games for me was a matter of looking up a guide on how to cheese the Drake sword,
right,
and then having an incredibly powerful weapon that made the game easier.
Right.
Otherwise, who knows?
And then all the YouTube comments being like, Drake sword.
Yeah, right.
Noob. Yeah. Oh my God. But I just like the stream title, Two Noobs. It reminds me of the Julie Walters Two Soups sketch. Yeah,
right.
Two Soups.
Yeah, it is. Yes, I do.
Two Soups.
In terms of upcoming releases, all anyone is talking about, including Secret Boss. I hear Secret Boss is a thing.
Yeah,
Secret Boss talks about this a lot. And it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Which I believe is out on the 6th of September, with early access a little earlier for the obviously a little earlier for
tomorrow,
the digital
in
deluxe.
Fact, if you're listening to this on Saturday
edition, I think it might be today.
Wow,
I know,
that's really early.
I know, it's so early, and everyone's excited about Baldur's Gate 3. It's all that anybody in Gamesland has been talking about for about a month.
I'm very excited about it. Every time I go on social media, just Baldur's Gate 3 this, Baldur's Gate 3 that.
I've not read anything about it. My one concession to preparing myself for Baldur's Gate 3 was to go back and play the port of Baldur's Gate on PS4, obviously on my PS5.
Yeah.
I didn't get very far because it's a very old game and it was made for a different system. It's very difficult to control.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I'm excited about Baldur's Gate 3 also.
Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, I don't know if it's really fair to say this. I love the first 3 hours of Divinity Original Sin 2, which I've probably played 4 times.
Right.
Every time thinking, this time
I'm going to
play this game.
We'll play it for real now.
And I still desperately want to, and I love those first 3 hours. Because it's vast and it requires all of your attention.
And we keep on saying we'll play it together.
Well, yeah, I really want to play it co-op.
Double commitment.
Two player co-op.
4 player, I think. But maybe let's say 2 because we're not sure.
The overlapping time, that would be difficult to find those moments.
I've done very little in that game and I just find it, the combat's amazing. It's just, as a tabletop RPG player, the way that they have transitioned tabletop to, it's funny because, games really are secretly based a lot on dice rolls and just tabletop.
The more that
stuff.
D&D has come back, the more you kind of go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Games have just been ripping this off.
Games have been hiding their workings for don't show that it's actually based on a board game. And now we're in a position where it's actually cool to
bringing them back.
Bring it back. Show me those dice rolls and things.
The medium becomes the thing you like.
Yeah.
Whereas the technology has always tried to hide the medium itself as much as possible.
I think
now it's just a cool thing.
From the age I am, I think that games, and obviously you guys are a tiny bit younger than me, so games are already just there, in computer games. And recently read Dice Men, the history of Games Workshop, and obviously they're going from importing games to making games, and then making choose your own adventure books, and also then both of them end up in the video games industry. And it's exactly that, and you kind of realize, this is literally the transition. And these people who've been making games on paper or on book form for 10 years just starting, and of course they're just gonna, you get a machine to do all the dice rolls, and then it's just the same as it was before.
It's so silly that I would think that was cool, but I do. And I don't know anything really about Baldur's Gate 3. I've been kind of keeping my head down on it. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I think Larian are great, and I wish I'd played more Divinity Original Sin 2, which I haven't. And I stupidly think this time's going to be different. This is the one for me. Baldur's
So there's
Gate
not
3.
a particular thing in Divinity which is like you get there and it's like, oh, I don't know what to do now. It's just about.
No, I mean the game opens up
Yeah.
a lot substantially, but it's just that unfortunately the way I play games, especially big ones, it's
You've
like
gotta be-
and
you
like
need
if
the momentum.
another game will come along that I'll need to just look at for a bit, and then Divinity's so big that when you turn your back for a while,
Yeah.
you look back and you're like, oh, I can't remember what
Yeah.
I was doing. And like I said, also Rob and I really hoped. We talked about it loads, playing it together. And we've never managed to do it.
It will
I
never
would love
happen.
to do that.
It will never happen. Well, there's
No.
Diablo 4 as well that I've barely scratched the surface of this year. Just
Sorry.
too many amazing, massive RPGs.
That can be played cooperatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to talk about, rounding up what's new, also what's new is that you're both relatively recently back from Gamescom.
Yeah.
Don't want to go massively into it because it's a week or so back, and there's lots of videos on the channel you can catch up on individual games and lots of coverage, including featuring Ash and Rosie if you're missing them today, everybody. But for you both, what did you see? Was it good?
It was. My favourite game that I played surprised me because it was a game in which I died again and again and again and again and again. Usually I hate those games, but I didn't. I loved Ghost Runner 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was just cool.
Yeah.
Just very, very cool. And it's a game where the more you die, the more you learn about enemy placements and ways to make it through the level. So by the end of my playthrough, I died so many times that I just knew where everyone was. And when I finally did do it,
Right.
it was great.
Very
And I
nice.
looked very cool. And it has like on foot sections and also motorbike sections,
Right.
which are brilliant. Where
Yeah.
you're just like at the last minute you realize, oh, I have to drive on the wall now, and it's designed so impeccably well that you will see with just enough time to react where you've got to go, and it feels great.
When is that out, Rob?
Good question. I know.
Sometime in. Oh.
It's out on the 26th of October.
Oh, nice.
So very soon.
Dave, you can only now talk about a game that you know the release date of.
Oh
Otherwise I will
dear,
crap
that's not my strong suit, Nath. I'll just guess one.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, my favourite game that I played was Ghost Runner 2 as well, and I had a different experience to Rob where I played it really well and didn't die that much, and it was great. No, I died a lot as well, and it was, you know what it's like when the developer sat right next to you.
Yeah.
I mean, he said at the start, it's a game, you're going to die loads. You're going to die loads, but still.
Ah, it's all right.
I had to
At one
develop-
point he was like,
Yeah.
at one point he said to me, "We actually, if you need the tooltips to be in a different language, we can do that." Like I wasn't reading them. I was reading them.
My guy just came and asked me, "Are you okay? You okay?"
Yeah.
I'm just going to help you I really want you to get to the motorbike bit at the
Yeah.
end of the demo before you
Yeah, we are running out of time.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. It's really, really good. I think it's a game you'd really like, actually, because it's just, I don't know why I think that, but it's got that instant restart.
Oh, no.
The checkpointing is really like liberal, and as soon as you die, you instantly press the button and you're back. a little bit
Hotline
before.
Miami-esque.
Yeah.
Well, I think the game actually everyone was thinking about and out there in the audience as well is Urban Trial Freestyle, Rob. That's the
one.
big
Urban trial
that's the
freestyle.
big
Yeah.
reset.
God, that was a long day in the office, wasn't it?
That was
Oh, and then a
brilliant
few
day,
long
yeah.
train journeys. You don't realise that Nathan
Oh,
and I,
yeah.
we took that
I remember.
all over the shop with us. But yeah, it's really, really fantastic. Apart from that, I really enjoyed Payday 3.
Oh, nice.
Another game I would love to
I was
have
so
a little
bad
team.
at Payday 3.
Oh, Rob.
You get to put your mask on when it's like, begin the heist. And I was like, oh, wait, I didn't mean to put my mask on. So I pressed the put your mask on button, not realising that once you've put your mask on, the put mask on button changes to throw a grenade. So we were doing our stealthy approach. And, it was that 5 seconds where I knew what was about to happen. And everyone else was like, okay, so we can maybe hack the computer there. And then I was just like, guys,
One of those great
it's already gone wrong, everybody. And you're about to find out why.
There's like three visitors and one developer on the team, and just
Right.
like finding new ways to test the developer's politeness. As he's like, okay, maybe we'll go loud. Like not saying, you idiots, we said we'd be quiet. Who was that? We said we'd be quiet this time. He's like, okay, yeah, maybe we'll go loud.
I guess
We'll do
this
that.
means that in the game you can't throw grenades without wearing a mask.
You can't.
Well,
Interesting.
the before putting on the mask bit is like the scouting bit.
I love that bit
where you're
like a civilian,
pretending to be a civilian, like scoping out.
You walk around the bank just like just having a look, just having a look. Don't worry about it. You can still, I think you can still
sneak in.
people.
You can still hurt people. Yeah,
but I don't think you can throw a grenade.
It's a safety feature. Gotta have the mask on.
There was one mission where we did do it, and we got to the end, and our scores were being totaled, and it was like the amount of bags you successfully stolen. Money, and then all the penalties started coming in. It's like, civilians killed 3 minus $60,000 or however much it was, and it was me. I'd killed all 3 of those.
I'm not sure that reflects the economics of actually robbing banks. You have to pay when you murder people, surely.
No.
That's
Maybe
so
we
much
were really
free,
good
isn't it?
robbers who sort of donated to a charity or something. Like, sorry about that.
So that was I really miss Cologne. Cologne's fantastic, and I wasn't able to come this year. Otherwise, I'd have loved to. But so, was it nice to be back?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it was weird. It was weird. I think that the 3 of us and have been to Gamescom many times. We've learned many lessons.
Right.
And then with a few years away, you forget everything.
Right.
You get
We
back and
forgot
you're
all the
like,
lessons.
what? How do we do this again?
Yeah. Okay.
It took me 2 days just to figure out how all the halls connected to each other. Which I had remembered. I had
I've
had
got
that
like a mental map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I had.
No, but it was very nice. And Cologne is beautiful, as you said. We had a lovely romantic walk across the bridge together.
Did you put a padlock on the bridge together?
No.
Okay. Not because we've already got one. And we had some lovely food and a pizza that was so big I actually felt pain. I was in pain afterwards, physical pain.
I enjoyed it. The pizza, not Dave's pain.
That is enough about your pizza and also about Gamescom. Thank you very much. And now we're moving on to the next section, which, as a regular listener to the podcast, I absolutely know is main feature.
I hope you've prepared something.
So on our main feature today, I don't really have a snappy title for it, and I know Ash, Queen of Puns, always does. But it's playing on the fact that I am old.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm also returned. We talked about so basically the idea is reliable, good things that you come back to. That's
right.
and obviously in a gaming context. And I wanted to kick this off by saying, but I'm going to talk about games which I always talk about. Just suck that up. But one of them's a new game. One of them's, and this will give you time to think about your answers. So in terms of, so I know that on the last podcast, I do listen to the podcast. That on the last podcast you talked about things you came late to the party. Obviously, I could have done an entire series of podcasts on games that and I've got ones in the future. I'm going to be late to the party with Elden Ring. I've still not played it yet. But in this one, a little bit different. Just things which you may have come late to, but but just super reliable. I think things age differently. Some things age incredibly well. Some things are really like an artifact of their time. And there isn't. I don't think that there's like, games are just getting better and better and better. You go back and some things really do stand up for whatever reason, design wise. And there's some stuff I loved, and you kind of like, that was an interesting, it was a stepping stone onto the games that got good in the future. I have been saying forever, and there's a really long Let's Play of Dave and I getting the platinum for it, Dead Space, obviously, 2008, which is 15 years ago now. I don't think, or I didn't until earlier this year, that Dead Space could really get much better. I just think it's kind of timeless. It looks incredible. And I think that there's a style to it. I just think that being well-resourced, brilliantly put together, well-made and polished is one thing. I think you can do all of that and then still make a game which ages not particularly well. But I think that when you just have people who just have a style, just like great taste, then you have a much better shot at making something which really stands the test of time. And I would put Dead Space in that bracket all day, every day. Obviously, I played the remake. Obviously, I've been waiting for a chance to talk about it on the channel. But it turns out I'm not on the channel anymore. Except now I am. So I played the Dead Space remake earlier on this year. It's brilliant. And of all the games where I thought, hey, this really doesn't need much of a remake, there's just something about seeing it brought into a modern context and just given sort of tiny quality of life improvements I really, really enjoyed. The other game, which I will always go back to, you can probably guess, again, is Doom. I just think there's something about that very original first Doom. I like the new Dooms, but I'm always, I do it as a de-stressor. I will go and just I'm going to go and play the first episode of Doom all the way through for an hour. It's going to be fantastic. Just games which old but reliable and good.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
What have you got, Rob?
Well,
Does it begin with us?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's obviously going to be games that I've talked about many times on the channel before, but for that same reason. They are, and I've talked about Skyrim a million times on the channel, and I've played Skyrim a million times on the channel, but every time it comes out again, I will always look for another excuse to include it in, a Christmas series, or it's just I still don't feel like I finished with it, because it never feels finished. Like, it never feels like you've done everything or seen everything there is to see in that game.
Can you dip into it? Would you play it like,
although I've never been able to just casually dip into it. Every time I've dipped into it, I've ended up being pulled into it, probably for at least 20 or 30 hours, even if I don't do a full-blown playthrough.
Do you always start at the beginning?
No. So I have like a save that I'm pretty happy with. It's the save where I got my platinum trophy, where I've got all the armors for all of the guilds, and I'm the king of everything. Like, I'm the head of the Dark Brotherhood. I'm the Archmage of the Mages Guild, like leader of the Companions, savior of the world. And sometimes I just there's a whole game's worth of stuff that I have collected and built up, and I own houses, and in those houses are like mannequins with all of my coolest armor sets displayed on them. There are bookcases, and you can curate what books you actually want to be putting on those bookcases. So you can, if you want to, I'm not saying I have done this, collect the whole history of Skyrim, line them up all nicely on the bookshelves.
Do you know, The Witch has obviously got a similar mechanic. I just want to say one thing really quick, where you can put all your armors in your house in Beauclair or wherever it's in Tucson. And I didn't realise that if you play the romance element of the game in a particular way, whoever you end up with will live in that house, and you go back there and they'll be there. But the way I played, I did Can and Yennefer, and then I think we broke up.
Oh, no.
And so when my house is empty, I had no idea that was the thing. And that makes me want to play again. Sorry.
Lydia lives in my house, and the child I adopted.
What's the child called?
I can't remember.
Dave.
It's just all she does is ask for money.
Oh,
whenever I come home.
I saved the world.
Hi, Dad. Can I have some money, please?
I guess you've got loads of money there.
I do have loads of money. Unlimited wealth in Skyrim. Just there's no enemy in that game anymore that can touch me.
And what if you go out into the world at that point? What do you do? Are there dragons there? What are you doing? Like, you punching a giant? What's happening?
Punching a giant.
What's the activity the world is offering?
I just like existing in it. I like riding through it. And there's still little procedurally generated things that happen organically. It feels like they happen organically in the world. And you'll remember just from playing that Christmas Elf episode where you had to find solitude, and I jokingly said at the beginning, I hope nothing bad happens along the way, and you were like, something bad's going to happen, and I genuinely didn't, but
there was a chance.
You were attacked by a member of the Dark Brotherhood, and they had on them that note that was like, you have been contracted to kill Nathan the Christmas Elf. Just lovely things like that. Just I love it so much. But I do enjoy just walking through the world, and if I do get the itch to actually start it again, I'm not adverse to beginning a new playthrough, always with the intention of doing something different. Maybe I'll be a magic user this time. I never do. I always just return to the comfort of the stealthy archer build, because it's the most satisfying and the most fun.
Do you think there's any parts of the map you haven't seen yet?
No, I don't think so.
No, I would be surprised, but I thought I'd ask.
Sometimes I go in a cave and it's like, I have no memory of this place.
Oh, God's sake.
I'd go in a cave. Dave, what's your answer to this question? Old games, but reliable and warm.
I don't really play games like that.
Focused on the new.
I am a very forward-moving player, and even some of my, especially when it comes to kind of like games with a story or like single-player campaign games, I think I've almost exclusively play those games one time.
Right. Yeah.
I just go through and I move on. and it's very unusual that I play anything a second time unless there's like a remake or a remaster, which I love because it's weird because I am always looking for that like next game, and sure. But I do really love returning to these games with like remakes and remasters.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Shadow of the Colossus as a sort of weird example of this. Maybe not weird, but like what you were saying about Dead Space.
Yeah.
It just was such that felt like a game of its time.
Yeah.
I think it was I think it was amazing, and I loved it at the time. But I couldn't quite, as someone who doesn't go backwards, I couldn't really see it how the remake was going to kind of fit in with the modern world, and I was so wrong. Like that has really stood the test of time for me. I think that it felt a game that was quite unusual. You know, it's like Studio Japan, and they have this very nuanced kind of take on gaming. I think, I mean, amazing games, but they felt very, to me, kind of like it just felt like a PS2 game, and that was where it would belong. And the PS4 remaster was just so good, and it really made me think about just those preconceptions I have. And I think it's probably because I do just keep moving forwards and I don't return to stuff unless it's, you know, I return to something like GT just to do laps and laps and laps in terms of like that nice warm comfortable feeling like an old pair of slippers.
But you know, because both you, I mean, I guess I was talking about the Dead Space remake anyway, but both you talked about remasters, and I guess it is interesting. I feel like since we have been doing this job over the last sort of 10-15 years, remasters and remakes have become much more of a kind of a staple of the release calendar. And I think that that's probably just backing up what we're saying in terms of there's like an inherent quality to a lot of ideas and games, and then it's worth making them into a remaster or a remake. Do you know what I mean? They're not stuck in a particular period of time. I'm trying to think of it's difficult to think of those games which are stuck. It's like, you know, why would I? They can't leave them there. And I guess that is true. Like, especially with, like, you know, certainly with, it's what all I was thinking of Dead Space is. I love that game, and actually, like, if you'd asked me as a curmudgeon, I'd be like, oh, I don't need it remastered or remade. I'm happy to go back and play the old one. But obviously, there's like a huge potential audience there who's never experienced that game, and just that experience itself. It was actually a fairly thorough and really nicely thought out remake, which added sections, straightened stuff out, made more of like zero G, loads of specific touches which were really, really good. But basically, the core of it was just what was there already, and just bringing that to a new audience is. Worthwhile.
It's interesting going back. You know, you've spoken specifically about a single player campaign, and it's interesting to me that that's one of your kind of like reliable gaming experiences. In as much as, you know, for me, I love mechanics, but the thing about in games, like I think it's probably my favorite thing in games are the mechanics, but the story, like experiencing that's probably why I don't think to go back, because I'm done. I've experienced that for the first time, and like, you know, that's happened. Like, are you playing Dead Space? Obviously, you know exactly what happens in Dead Space. You know what's going to happen around every corner, more or less. Yeah. Are you playing it because you know what? You know, is the comfort in knowing what's going to happen? Do you just love exploring the mechanics? It's
funny because I one of the things that we did on the channel, which I loved, was Rob's cinematic playthrough of that particular level on
MGS 2.
Was it 2? Mm-hmm. And that obviously came from a joy that you got from. I love this game. I'm playing this game a lot, and obviously when we're younger and there's a limit to the number of, you know, you got much smaller, so you're going to just play the heck out of whatever you got. So that comes from that. But then also at some point it morphs into a joy of, I'm really good at this game. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing and I'm enjoying that. And with Dead Space, it's like me sinking into, I feel like just the texture of that game, like the noises, the sound effects, and the sort of the soundscape of it all. But then with the look of it, just like him as an engineer and how well that character of an engineer fits that world, the holographic UI that exists in the world, not like menus and stuff. All of that, when I go back to it, I'm just like, this is such a distinctive sense of like place and atmosphere. I'm just so into it. It's like, it's great.
It's like you love the world, but also love that you're good at it.
Yeah, and I'm not scared of it. Nothing is, and I guess it's a horror. Maybe there's something else. Like
it's almost like if you peel away the fear. I mean, I'm not saying that you were. I would be afraid, but you know, if you peel that away, then you can just enjoy the world. Because that's the thing. I would love to play Dead Space. I think it looks amazing. I love the world and the design of it. I have tried. Yeah. I've tried with the original. I've tried with the remake, and it's too much for me.
Well, do you know, this conversation I had with Ash was about, because we were playing the remake at the same time. And actually, I did not. I put it down for a couple of weeks because, like, I was scared. There were some bits I didn't know anymore, and then that made it much. I was like, I'm not a horror fan at all.
Yeah.
I like becoming familiar enough with horror games that I'm not scared of them anymore.
Yeah,
it's a very slightly different mechanic.
It's maybe the same for you then, Rob. Like, as in, is it that you enjoy existing in the world of Skyrim as much?
I enjoy being the most powerful man in the world.
I do. Yeah.
More than because I guess I had mistaken or misunderstood that some people might be returning to games to experience the story again, or maybe,
I have done that.
Maybe the mechanics.
I have done that, but
you were both maybe talking about just enjoying existing in the world.
I also enjoy dipping into it in much the same way that I enjoy rewatching The Lord of the Rings every Christmas.
Yeah.
It feels like home to me.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about like an Uncharted 2. Going back to
the Uncharted games are one of my exceptions actually.
And just some things are so good. And just reminding myself, I'm sure we've all got like a hit list of just stuff which is so good. Just going back and just reminding yourself of the train level on Uncharted 2. I could just play that forever. And then sometimes some of the character moments, you just like struck by, chef's kiss. Yeah. And the big point about all of this anyway is that ultimately it's like me, isn't it? Coming back.
Well, I was worried that's where you were going with this. Yeah,
coming back to host the.
Yeah. Interesting. That's your interpretation of how we feel about you.
Hey, before we end this section, I've got one completely unrelated story, which is I think that you were talking about eating a pizza in Cologne. And while I went on holiday, the reason I didn't come was because I was on holiday and I went to Croatia on Rob's recommendation actually, and I went to Dubrovnik and it was 35 degrees and I ate a pizza midday, and I don't have very much of a memory of what else happened. Just eat like a hot ball of cheese. And I got hit by a sea urchin, and I know that the cameras
got hit by a sea urchin.
Well, okay, I hit the sea urchin.
They've really evolved since I've been in the sea.
They are scary.
They are scary. I am not a fan. Not a fan.
Bits of it were in my. I thought I just mashed my knee up against I was snorkeling.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd mashed my knee up against a rock that was in the sea, but it was. I came out. It was like very neat
perforated
of perforations. Spent a while digging out bits of that.
I'm quite scared of them because my dad stood on one once and I just remember him sat on the beach with like this thick black tuft of spikes coming out of his big toe, and we had to dig them out with like a blunt safety pin. And
God.
It's just not.
That sounds like a horror game.
Well, they're really fragile, aren't they? And I think you have to be really careful pulling them out, because if they could snap beneath the skin,
they're very.
You can get into some trouble.
They're very fragile.
It's made me quite scared. And now they're hitting people. I can't believe this is
30 miles an hour.
They're mobile.
They got to be stopped.
Look both ways before we cross this current.
For God's sake.
Sea urchins going past at speed.
If I can remember the thing I was going to say, we can edit it in later. But failing that, we're going to move on to the next section, which is going to be comments of the week. And you're going to have to explain to me how to do this. So.
Oh, this will be good. It's time
for comments of the week. Oh,
see, he knows.
We still got it.
We still got it.
Why didn't you just use the old sting?
It's more fun apparently if we do it live. I think it's quite offensive to people's ears, but
we did it live with an actual live audience. You were there, Nathan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah,
was that the Last of Us?
Yeah, Last of Us Part 1
live podcast at BAFTA. Yes.
Oh, Rob, you dropped your BAFTA card there.
For comments of the week this week, Alex and I decided to do something a little bit different.
Okay.
Which is...
Not mean comments. You wouldn't come with mean comments. We only do the good ones.
No, it was that a couple of weeks ago, we did a community post asking community members to describe the most recent game that they played, but without naming.
I liked this post.
Game.
This was a good post. Well done, Alex.
This has now been turned into a quiz.
Ooh.
Exactly.
I'm excited.
So I'll do it alternately.
Okay.
I'm going to read out the description. Obviously, you've got to try and name the game. I don't know how Alex has figured out the game, because obviously the people didn't say it.
No.
Maybe that suggested it's all very easy. And if you don't get it, I'll pass it on to the other person.
Okay.
I'll try and count. So I'll start with Rob. This is from user Ashley Kinsella, who says, 1940s crime set in Los Angeles. The main character who won the Silver Star during the war. He went as a detective after the war, solving mysteries.
L.A. Noire.
Correct.
Good one.
Dun, dun, dun. Here's a good one.
Yeah.
A zonal hero, David.
Zonal? Oh, wait.
No, you're right. It's Zone I.
Okay.
Doesn't make any more sense.
But that's the user anyway. I don't need to worry about that.
No, you don't.
Okay, that's the commenter.
The game is set in Shibuya, Japan. It stars a high school boy framed for assault, a creepy man with a long nose, and a magical cat bus.
Is it Persona 5?
It is Persona 5.
Yes! Oh, I was
Well done,
worried
Dave.
then. You said Shibuya, and I was like, oh, God, it could be any number of things.
Do you know, I read all these and I was like, these seem gettable to me. But it was the weird thing about quiz, and we've done quizzes previously on the
You've
channel.
seen me fall apart in a quiz situation.
It's so easy when you have the answer is basically
Right.
what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of obviously this. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you're on the other side. So it's 1-1. Gaming Psycho.
Right.
This question is for you.
Oh, cool. Very good.
Speeding through the grand valleys and deep forests of the world in chariots, both old and new. Slightly cryptic, this
I
one.
think I know what it is, but I like it.
Speeding through the grand valleys and deep forests of the world in chariots,
I
both
mean,
old and new.
Slightly tricky here is this is Alex's interpretation of what this is, rather than
That
a
is
fact.
true.
We might
I
have
think
to
there's a
ask him.
fairly solid couple of clues in there.
Okay.
Speeding through the grand valleys and deep forests of the world in chariots, both old and new.
I don't have a clue.
David,
Well,
it's
that
your
is-
chance to steal.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I was just thinking like Gran Turismo 7.
Oh my word, that's exactly what Alex thought it was.
Yay! Me and Alex.
It's cryptic, isn't it? I think
Chariot's old and new. It's just that, it's just cars, isn't it? Old cars, new cars. Lovely deep
In places.
forests,
In
yeah.
places,
Driving
yeah.
cars in
forests.
places.
They have forests and valleys.
Speeding very fast.
I can see that Rob is fine with this.
Yeah.
Dave, it's your chance to make it 3-1.
Okay.
Britt Anderson has written in saying, returning to a family home and uncovering the tragedies that happened to those who lived there.
I hope that it is What Remains of Edith Finch.
I can tell that Rob is furious that he didn't get that question. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
3-1 to Dave.
This is fine.
We're halfway through. Nearly, are we? No, this is number 5. Then we'll be halfway through. Squall 0506.
Oh, good one for you, Rob.
Blue Needle Mouse travels at insane speeds around exotic locales.
Exotic locals.
Well, it could be any number of Sonic games.
specific.
Alex has actually written very specifically that he doesn't need to be specific.
Right.
Right. So Sonic, a
Yay.
Sonic game.
That's correct. Do you want to guess one?
Sonic
This is really a test of whether you can get any Sonic game at
2.
this point.
Sonic 4.
Sonic Frontiers. But that makes it
3-2.
3-2. Number 6 then. George Borum. And the game that George was playing, rookie cop turned government agent goes from one traumatic night to an even more traumatic night. But this time, he's in Spain.
Resident Evil 4.
I feel like the Spain thing was too much of a
It
giveaway.
took me a while. Like Rookie Cop,
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? I wasn't really sure. I'll be honest.
He's not a rookie cop in Resi 4. And it starts off describing Resi 2.
I
And
see.
then it's like, actually, not that one.
The clue is out of scope. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
The only bit of that clue that's talking about Resi 4 is the last
And I'm
sentence.
sure if you were winning, you'd be making the same point. So that's 4-2. 4-2 to Dave, which means it's Rob's question. From Justin T. We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. That's it. It's a quotation.
Bloodborne.
Correct.
Blood.
You'll be happy to know that...
That's also just not doing it right. Not doing it right.
I mean, I think the community post just
God.
asked people to describe the most recent game.
That's
without,
not described the game.
without naming
It's like
the
when you
game.
ask someone to play charades and they
Well-
act out a scene from the game rather than acting out the words themselves. That's how you're supposed to play charades.
But you did get it.
I did, but I shouldn't have done.
Well, then maybe you should have a word with yourself.
Do you know, I feel like I'm looking at the 3 questions we've got left.
Yeah.
The score is currently 4-3.
Yeah.
There's a chance. It won't seem like it initially, but there's a chance. Anything could happen.
Whose side are you on here? You should just
I'm
be
on
the
side
arbiter of...
of fun.
Right, okay.
Question 8. David from J. Trimble.
Come on, Jay.
Climb robot giraffe.
Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon.
That is
Forbidden
exactly what. So
2 points. Point for each.
correct. So that puts you on to 5-3. Rob.
So I've got to score this. Otherwise, I'm out.
Yep.
Praneeth Vilavolu.
That's a great name. Just Vilavolu.
I know.
Wow.
Might be Vilavolu. A game that lets you make any game that you can imagine, regardless of your skill.
Dreams.
Correct.
Nice.
It's all
It
come
was like a
down.
marketing line there. It was so good.
It's all come down to this. From Sam Lance, who asked Dave, Doge leads trophy men through platforming puzzles to a heavenly elevator.
Humanity.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Would you have got Humanity?
Probably not. No, I knew what game it was, but I had forgotten the name of it until you said it just then.
At first, I thought it was Nippon Marathon.
Oh my god!
I was just thinking Doge and leading people, and I was like, oh, Nippon Marathon.
I wouldn't have got Humanity.
Humanity's great. Really good game. And I don't know how my brain remembered that's what it was called, but it did.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's it for comments of the week, actually. Although I would say that we do have a prompt for next week.
yeah,
Which-
next episode.
No, sorry, 2 weeks' time. I hope Ash doesn't mind me suggesting something because I'm going to do it whether she
Do
does
it.
or not. And that is, well, just making the prediction that everybody is going to be playing Baldur's Gate 3 when the next pod arrives. I'd like for people to comment on this one, just telling us what your RPG character name is and what the story is behind it.
Nice.
For
Little backstory.
For example, I won't be here next time, so I will say that my RPG character name is often Dolg, D-O-L-G, which is a good name for a dwarf. It was originally applied to a dwarf, but then it's also my Demon and Dark Souls name. And the reason is because at university, Warren G had very recently...
You went to university with Warren G?
I did, yeah. No, and he did a song with Nate Dogg. So Nate Dogg was in the... So I was known sometimes, I guess ironically, at university as Nate Dogg.
Right.
So Dog was my kind of nickname.
Yeah.
Lots of different versions of Dog in lots of my online names. And I just put an extra letter in there for my RPG name.
To make it a bit more fantasy.
Dolg.
Well,
Yeah.
Rob, you must know that you're going to be Roberus.
I'm always Roberus Targaryen. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it fits.
If it
some
fits.
games.
Oh,
Some
Targaryen.
games don't have Targaryen.
Artarg.
Robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dave?
I often go with Sir Davos.
That's good. Like with the E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, I guess. But
What was
Sir
Davos?
Who was he? Was he the Onion Man?
The Onion Knight, Davos Seaworth. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just like the sensible one in the end, wasn't he? The sensible
me,
one
he was
who
my
always
favourite.
was able to stop the children bickering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes Dave does that. That's it for comments
I
of the
try.
week. And the others can tell us theirs when they return. next
Oh,
week.
yeah. Good idea.
So this is a little section I like to call Before We Go.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, that's right. Where I'm just going to talk about all the stuff I've been doing.
Well, it's been a while.
It has, yeah. So how long we got left? We've got a while. I'm just pressing the timer button on here. Two things I actually wanted to bring up. One for discussion with everybody else. One just for myself.
Okay.
And one because it's what we've been doing in the office, which is just wanted to... Today's a big day. People out there won't know it. They won't care either. That's the other thing. And Rob might even be annoyed that we've
I'm
mentioned
not sure
it.
Rob cares. I don't
but
know how I
even know
feel,
what's
to be
going
honest.
on.
For my birthday
You will know.
this year, my work present was a 2,000 piece jigsaw puzzle
Oh, this has annoyed me so much.
for the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
2,000 pieces. Would I say it's the best jigsaw puzzle that we've ever done in the office, or that I've ever done as a human being? I'm not sure. Lots of pictures of things I like from Lord of the Rings, sort of connected by smoke,
Yeah.
which is very challenging to put together. isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's taken something you love, I think, and made it hard to love.
I put in some genuine hours on the jigsaw at the
Yeah.
weekends.
I
Came
know.
in. Dave, you and I did about 2-3 hours this weekend.
Yes, we did.
Pulling it together. I'm not even
Yeah.
sure why.
Just deliberately for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just put some,
Why?
we put the Howard Shore music on.
Just don't worry about it.
I think
That's always just you'd never have to do a jigsaw puzzle ever.
No one
never
has to
have
do
to.
jigsaw
No.
puzzles. But there's a reason that they remain so popular.
Yeah, I've never really understood myself.
This one's got Aragorn on it.
Jigsaw puzzles, Lego,
You don't understand Lego.
What?
IKEA furniture,
Well-
I like putting together IKEA furniture, I'll be honest.
Korean barbecue restaurants.
Agree on that one.
All
well, no,
places
be
where
specific.
you have to go
Sure.
and make your own fun.
That
you
is
have
the-
to cook your own food.
that
You
is
have
the
to build
craziest
your own
thing.
toys. You have to piece together your own art.
Do you know, I will say that the whole jigsaw puzzle...
Annoying.
The jigsaw puzzle thing where you're basically... I was thinking about it today. I was looking at the picture of this thing done. 2,000 pieces. Taken us, 3 months? And I was looking at it going, isn't it crazy that one of the most enduring things that human beings do is they make a picture and they break it to bits, and then
Yeah.
the challenge,
Make
the
it
fun
again.
bit is putting it back together. And it reminded me of, like, sometimes you give animals, like dogs especially, like just nonsense things to do, and they call it an enrichment activity.
Yeah.
And I was like, this has been like an enrichment
Mhm.
activity.
Very
for me.
much so.
Just like, oh, going to match the colours. These black bits go together.
Doesn't
Yeah.
it feel awful? Because you've done it now, and it's
Yeah.
been the culmination
We're
of...
going to put it on the wall.
Are you?
It's going to go up there.
How are we going
In
to
the
do that?
studio, you get a special spray. It glues it all together, and you can frame it. Probably only
That's-
costs a few £100s.
That's a bit, that's a bit better. But
What?
surely, like, it's so...
Did you not hear about the hundreds of pounds?
I don't know how much it costs, really.
Don't
I know
do that.
it, yeah. It's going to be fine.
But if
What if
you
we
had,
just
if
all
you weren't
remembered it?
doing that, then I just don't understand. Like, the goal of a jigsaw puzzle
Is to
is to
finish.
then just put it all back in the box
I
afterwards.
actually
Yeah.
disagree in as much as I don't want to see it again.
Oh.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, like, it's like with Lego. I love making the thing.
Yeah,
I think
that's
there's
the-
my Lego Boba Fett somewhere. There's Lego Aloy down there.
yeah.
I love making it. Then have much less desire to display it.
No, I don't want to.
Making
no.
is the fun, and that. So I actually really enjoy the puzzle process. I have enjoyed this one. This one has been hard. I think of myself as quite good at puzzles. I've not been good at this one at all.
Do you know, Lego always makes me feel a little bit sad. Like, so my kids, we got a lot of Lego. Sometimes they'd ask for a big Lego set for Christmas, and you'd make it for a couple of hours. It'd be perfect, and they'd love it. They'd play with
Right.
it, like a big police station or whatever. And then just like a little bit falls off.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that little bit's fallen off, something in my head's like, this is not ruined, but like and I feel guilty. And it's
Yeah.
like, this was so much money, and now it's like, oh.
But if they're having fun with it,
yeah, I know. But then eventually it ends up, it's all in the box.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's been in the box for 10 years.
I've bought Minecraft Lego for my daughter before. And she's loved it, but then she's like, Daddy, can you build this with me? And I've never bought her any more Lego sets.
For God's sake. I think there's
It's
actually
supposed to be a thing that you love doing with your child, isn't it? Building Lego. I just find it
too
so.
uptight, man.
I just find it too.
It
It's
should-
too much work. It's work.
Well, it should be. It should also be build it. Well, I love building it, like you say. I don't like maintaining it once it's made, and also I don't have the imagination to have fun with it if it's not just building the thing which they told me.
Absolutely.
I love following
Yeah,
instructions.
I can't create anything out of nothing from Lego.
No.
Apart unless it's a tower. How tall can you make the tower?
Exactly.
Sometimes that's fun, and then
Yeah.
you knock it down.
This is probably quite revealing for all of us, isn't it? So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. I wanted to ask if you'd watched. This could be a short conversation. Watched any Ahsoka yet?
No, not
Dave?
yet. We were at Gamescom when it launched.
I don't want to
and
hear the excuses.
it's not an excuse. It's more. It's like, and it's made me feel weird about it. I'm behind now.
Oh,
and
give Ahsoka.
no.
it's-
The classic Dave.
It's more like, I don't know. What are you on about? You haven't played Elden Ring.
I'm not. That's not because I'm worried about. It's because I'm waiting for my moment. I'm
What do you think
poised
I'm worried about?
Like a tiger.
I'm waiting for my
Sometimes we get games early,
Yeah.
and me and Rob will play a game for a week, and the game still isn't out, and you'll be like, "Oh, I'm behind." It's like the game's not out yet, Dave. Just play the game.
Well, I don't know if that's really true, but that was
It's
true
true.
one time. It was true one time. But yeah, I just so I haven't watched it. Basically, I haven't watched it. I'm
Fair.
a little bit nervous about watching it because I
Just
find
kick
Star
back.
Wars to be
It's 3 episodes up now. 4 by the time.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. 3 episodes out now.
I'll probably watch it this weekend.
And then my last thing before I just stop talking about all the stuff I've been doing with my time. I am very, very close to finishing the Wheel of Time series.
Wow.
I'm on.
For the second time, didn't you
No.
do this as a child?
Wow.
or
No,
something?
as a child, I read 4 of the books.
Oh right.
I saw-
Out of how many?
14.
Oh my God.
I saw the teaser for season 2
Yeah.
of the Wheel of Time.
I've got some thoughts about the Wheel of Time TV series. They're not all completely negative, but It's difficult, I think, when you really like a version of a story to see it done differently.
I used to love it as a child, and I read all the way up to book 11, Knife of Dreams.
You got through what they call the crawl.
Crossroads of Twilight was... No. Is that book 10? Book 10 is Crossroads of Twilight, right? It's hard. Because the first third of it is a recap of everything that's happened in books 7 to 9 from different characters' point of view.
Yeah. You got right up to the Sanderson books, and then you stopped.
I think the last one that Robert Jordan wrote was book 11, Knife of Dreams.
Yeah.
And then 12 was supposed to be the finisher, and they divided it into 3, so 12, 13 and 14. Never read the Brandon Sanderson ones.
They're pretty good.
I went, to my shame, I just read what happened on Wikipedia. Just read the end of it.
So I read Eye of the World, like probably a year and 2 years ago, maybe. And I did the same. I was like, I'm never going to read all 14 books. I'm just going to look this up. And I did. I read it all. And then it's so dense, and it's 14 books worth of stuff that was happening at the end had no relation to the stuff that I knew about. So I forgot about it all. So now I'm experiencing stuff just going, this is amazing. This is fantastic. And once Sanderson comes in, it's like he's just got the bullet points of what happens, and he just stuff just starts smashing. Nothing happens for like the last 4 of Robert Jordan's books.
No.
So did the original author die?
Yes.
And a second author came to finish the story?
Yes.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thanks,
so what
man.
You're on book what book you on?
I'm very close to the end of book 13, and
wow.
And then I'm going to be starting on the last book.
Blimey.
Soon. It's exciting. What's
is
going to
exciting.
happen? Who knows?
Well, you should remember.
I do, yeah. I've read it all. So, Rob, in the manner of this segment of the podcast, which I know all about, what's happening with you?
That's not actually how it works, Nath. we come with things if we have them or we don't.
Have you got anything?
Yes. Well, I watched a film recently that I really enjoyed.
Tell me about it.
The Lighthouse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which I thought I would like. Bit weird.
Yeah.
Has Robert Pattinson in it.
Yeah.
I love Robert Pattinson.
And weirdness.
As we have discussed on this podcast before. And it was just everything I wanted it to be. Just pure cinema.
Yeah.
I thought brilliant. Just a big emotional echo chamber. Weird and horrifying. Full of wonderful imagery, and I just didn't want it to end, and then it ended, and I thought, wow, that was great.
It was great. There's that one shot when they're arguing halfway through, which is I can't even remember the painting that's really specifically styled on, but it's just like this horrifying image of them both sort of poised, like frozen, with light coming out of and framing them.
Sort of Willem Dafoe lit incredibly atmospherically from below.
Yeah. Awful.
Brilliant.
But great.
Brilliant film.
Oh, there we go. So apart from not watching Star Wars, Dave, is there anything that you'd like to bring up in this section?
The Bear. I've been watching The Bear.
I've been watching a little bit of The Bear.
It's so good. I finished season 1 at the weekend.
Nice.
It's on Disney Plush, if you want to watch it. And it is, I think it's excellent. I think it's really, really excellent. It's about a Michelin-starred chef who takes over his brother's run-down sandwich shop in Chicago, and it's quite intense. I mean, it's like it gives you a real taste of a kitchen. Everything you think of,
a taste of kitchen.
Everything you kind of think of as a professional kitchen, like the heat and everybody being kind of very close to each other, and everyone doing similar jobs, and you know they're like dominoes. Like there's all of that, and then there's just the intensity of what's going on in their lives, and it's also just amazing looking food. It makes me hungry. It makes me want to cook. It's really, really good. I think it's excellent.
Is it a drama or is it?
Drama, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's really tight. I've only watched 1 or 2 episodes, and it's really tightly put together. Like Edgar Wright does those like hard cut montages.
Yes.
It's a little bit more expanded than that, but some sections of it are just like there's so much going on. There's like noise and just chopping, loads of chopping.
Sometimes I don't have great hearing. I don't know if I'm just missing dialogue or it's more that you just people are just talking over each other and shouting,
it's a vibe.
And it's more you just get a vibe of like
kitchen.
What's happening. But I honestly think it's excellent, and yeah, I'm enjoying season 2. I think there's only 2 seasons so far. I don't know if there will be more, but it's great.
Nice.
It's good.
Well, what a perfect time to end the podcast.
Isn't it?
Right now.
Yes.
Do you know what I didn't do? Check
What?
how we end the podcast. Was one of
You don't usually get this far when you...
No, I'm like, really? What about this one? I'm like, they've stopped chatting. It's just the end. So maybe one of you should...
I think you could figure it out. You should
Okay.
guess.
I have really, really enjoyed being back, your guest host this week in the absence of Ash and Rosie, who will be back for the next podcast. And I've really enjoyed spending time with my friends, Dave and Rob, and talking about all the things we've spoken about. Please do put your comments in. Let us know about your RPG names if you have one, which you use regularly. Do all the regular things that you would normally do. Certainly like this video, comment on it to tell us how enjoyable it has been, and subscribe to the channel and press the extra buttons that you should press. And come back again. I'm out of touch.
That's basically it.
Okay, great.
You did it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for listening or watching. We'll see you next time.